So yeah, I'm staying in the sleep study room. All I have to do is wake up every 3 hours and ah! And then go back to sleep, and then I get 2 credits.
Oh my god.
Welcome back.
That's my line.
Well, you weren't fucking saying it.
You made me laugh. And welcome back to episode 57 of Crips and Corks. I'm your host, DJ Powers, here with my co-host,
Paul, as usual. And spooky month is officially over, y'all.
Yes.
This is our first November episode. And now, since spooky month is over, we're getting into the funny, okay? We're gonna be funny for November, probably. Not all of November, but I feel like we just need this funny episode to,
Yes, welcome to No Scared November.
No Scared November.
That's
Speaking of
joking.
which...
I'm joking because, what? Are you getting freaked out by your trash can?
No, I wasn't sure if we unplugged the trash can or the fridge.
I unplugged the fridge.
Okay,
That's
cool.
the important one.
Perfect.
No, that's a joke because I've got a couple scary ones lined up for this month still.
Awesome. I do like the spook, but this one will be a nice palate cleanser after the spooky tale DJ told last week, because I do think that Catskills, that was spooky, okay? It shivered my timbers.
I'm so sorry. I just OCD.
It's fine. It's fine.
I only apologize because they had to watch that.
T. Well, how was your week, Paul? I have finally bought big pants. The Gen Zers on TikTok have bullied me into buying big pants. My skinny jeans are no longer cool, and I've been bullied.
Hey, shut your whore-ass mouth. Skinny jeans will never die.
See, I still have my skinny jeans, but I was bullied by the Gen Zers on TikTok to get big pants, and now I have big pants, so I hope everyone's happy. You did this, okay? All the harassment, the comments, everything. And I have bought the big pants, and I don't know. I'll post pictures of me in the big pants. Maybe we'll put them in the photo dump for this episode. We'll see what happens. But I have big pants now. They're not just skinny jeans anymore. We are evolving with the style and the culture of today. So you're all welcome. How was your week, DJ?
My week was fine. Thank you for asking. You could have asked me first, and I would have asked you. But
I had a lot to say. I had to get out the big
very
pants.
opinionated. It was fine. I had lunch with a friend from college before this, and it was nice to talk and catch up. And I had something to share, and I forget. So in the meantime, I'll share that we had lunch in the town where I grew up. And I had to park across the street from the church I attended growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I still believe in, God and stuff in my own spiritual witchy way.
Mm-hmm.
And, one of my favorite things to do is light candles. Because it's something that you can do in a Catholic church that's not going to get you burnt as being a witch.
True.
But the problem is that the candles were $3 a piece. I only had a 20.
So you bought 30. I don't know how many candles I would buy, but probably
18.
18.
No,
that's not right.
6.
So you bought
6.
You got 6 candles in that bitch?
Well, I bought 6. They owe me 3 because I only lit 3. So I'm gonna go back and take my 3 free candles another time.
You hear that, church? Jesus. DJ's coming for you bitches. He's coming for his money, and you better have his coins.
And no, people do this because this is in the same parish that my grandparents attend, and my grandmother told me about one woman. She pays for her candles monthly.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll at the beginning of the month, she'll drop $40 in, and then just through the month, she'll periodically go through and light candles.
$40? Damn. How many candles does she need?
Let's see, 36, I think is the closest divisible of 3. And that's...
Bitch, I don't know.
12.
12. Okay. Well, she's lighting her candles.
Wait. 36 plus 3 would be 39, which would be 13, so 13 candles.
Isn't that a movie?
Yes, with Molly Ringwald.
Oh, maybe she's doing it in honor of that movie. Good for her. I stand that.
I think she just sticks 2 20s in there, and that's what she gets. If you go over and under, it's between you and the Lord.
Right, that's the Lord's problem. Speaking of the Lord, Do you have anything else to share about your
No,
week?
are you going to go into Paul's Pop Culture Corner?
Yes, it is time for Paul's Pop Culture Corner. And today I'm going to talk about someone who's very near and dear to my heart. And DJ's probably tired of me talking about her, but I just love her, okay? So today we're going to discuss the love of my life, Brianna Chicken Fry.
Who?
Brianna Chicken Fry.
You have never brought this
She's
person
the love of my life.
You...
I talk about her all the time.
No,
What
you
do you
don't.
mean?
Bold-faced lie.
No. Okay, yes, I'm gaslighting DJ. I've never talked about this girl in my life, and DJ definitely does not know who this woman is.
No, I don't.
But she is relevant today because she was dating Zach Bryan, and they did break up,
Who's
unfortunately.
Zach Bryan? I'm not joking. Who's that?
You don't know who goddamn Zach Bryan is?
I-
He's a huge country music star.
Well, that's why I don't know.
Zach Bryan is a huge country music star, and he was dating Brianna Chicken Fry, who is an influencer.
Oh.
And they have broken up. But it's a crazy story because, so basically they broke up. And then the next day, they broke up. And then the next day, without warning, he put on his Instagram story that they broke up. Blindsiding her. So it was this big thing on the internet of
Wait, he broke up with her via Instagram post?
No, he broke up with her, and then the next day, without telling her that they were going to go public with the breakup, he put it on his Instagram story. So she's going through all these emotions, then all of a sudden, the public knows all of their business, right? And then 2 days later, he drops a song about her. And it's the most beautiful song, too.
He planned that.
Something, bitch. And it's a good song, too. And it's talking about a good time they had at, a beach, a picnic, and whatnot.
He planned that.
Pretty song.
You can't tell me otherwise. He planned it. He stayed with her until the producers were like, okay, this is the day we're releasing.
And you know what? He's done that to girls in the past, too. So this isn't a first, okay? He'll date a girl for a while and then break up and be like, oh, it's me. I just need to work on myself. But does he ever?
And you know what? And nobody talks about that, but everyone, that's what led to Reputation era. Everyone said that's all that Taylor Swift did was she would come in hot and heavy, date a guy, break up with him, write a song with him, and make money off of it.
Yes, that did lead to her Reputation era.
Because she's like, no, that's not true. I'm just I'm an artist. I write about what I know and I write about what I feel.
Exactly. And she's allowed to date around, okay? Women are allowed to date around.
Yes, because as I heard in a book that I was listening to on audiobook, because I listen to audiobooks apparently.
Surprise.
I know, shocking. Men are weak. Women are not. Men are weak because they are allowed to, and they take advantage of that.
Yeah, and also, I'm not gonna lie. As dudes, we have a wandering eye. Something catches our eye. We're looking for the next pretty thing, and emotional maturity we lack, and all sorts of things, really.
Yes.
And
not me though. I am staying true blue to you as my co-host. Even though I know about those secret backroom interviews you've been having in your casting couch.
Okay, you don't know how hard it is to get those stains out of that couch, okay? Do you think the person who actually cleans the casting... No, wait, I think the actual casting couch is leather, so they can clean the stains out.
Yeah, easy wipe. No, what? It's vinyl.
Ew, gross. What the fuck?
It's vinyl. The booths in restaurants. Mm-hmm. Really easy to wipe down. That shit never stains.
Well, you heard it here first, guys. DJ cleans the casting couch. That's his side job.
Wait, how did you get that out of what I said?
You seem to know an awful lot about cleaning couches. In particular,
I know about cleaning vinyl.
Well, you knew what it was made of and you knew how to clean it.
I know what vinyl is.
If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's probably a chicken.
Can we drink?
Yeah,
I need a drink.
That was today's pop culture update. You're welcome. Get into Brianna Chicken Fry. I have not consumed any of her content, so I don't know what she's about. But that was... Oh, I do have one more thing to say. I have one more thing to say, and then we can move on to the alcohol.
Okay.
Tom Cruise. It's going around the internet that Tom Cruise is going into pet stores and buying fish and fucking them.
What?
Yeah, apparently he'll go into a pet store, he gets a specific breed of fish, and it has to be at least 20 inches long, and he'll buy it, and they'll hand it to him in a paper towel, and he takes it to the back and leaves afterwards. And that's straight from TikTok, girl. And if it's on TikTok, it must be true. But I thought that was crazy because Tom Cruise is a big actor, but that was it was trending for like at least 2 days on TikTok. I was like shook.
I never heard that. Oh my god.
Yes. So now
I definitely need a drink after that.
Now we can move on to the alcohol. And today's alcohol is actually sponsored by our friend Robert. So thank you for the alcohol, Robert. He got
Our very first fan.
Yes. He got us the Winking Owl Sangria. And I know this is Aldi's brand. I've had Aldi's brand like once or twice, and it's usually pretty okay.
I think he brought this one time when we were hanging out, and well, I know the Winking Owl he brought. I don't know if it was this one.
Right. So let's open it. You're not getting an ASMR pop again. It's a
crack.
That was a pretty loud crack. Okay. Get into that.
It's probably more satisfying than the of the electric corkscrew.
Right. Okay. ASMR pour. Right off the bat, it looks like grape juice. Not too promising.
Smells fruity.
Alrighty. Cheers. Let's give this a go.
Oh.
She's sweet. I like it.
Oh, yeah.
The Winking Owl Sangria. Okay, period. This is so Julia.
5 grapes.
You know what? I'm going to give it 5 grapes, too. That's a really good wine.
And you know what's really nice? Because sangria is wine mixed with, like, fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And this, you can actually taste, like, the different fruits. Like, I'm getting citrus, I'm getting some berry.
Right. And I'm pretty sure this wine is only, like, $5 or $6. That's a super cheap wine. So it's probably the alcohol content's probably like 2%, but what can you do?
Yeah. It doesn't list.
It does not list. Watch, it's not even alcoholic.
Wait, here it is. 10%.
10%. Oh, excuse the fuck out of me. It doesn't taste 10%.
If you like sangria, have you ever been to a BJ's brew house?
Girl, you know I've been to a BJ's.
You
know. You already know I've been to the BJ's.
I actually do know that because I remember that surprise birthday party you came to.
Yeah, we had your surprise birthday party there. Wow, and DJ was really surprised by that BJ. It was crazy.
They have an excellent sangria there. They make it with Prosecco.
Yeah.
Sparkling wine. And you get the bottle with it.
Their food is pretty good. I like a good BJ.
Can I tell you a secret? It's not going to be a secret anymore. That surprise party...
You knew about it, duh. I know.
Oh, okay.
We all knew you knew about it.
Oh.
I ruined it. You're welcome, guys.
No, the person who told me like that it was a surprise party told me to act surprised because it was a surprise party.
I think we had that conversation. I might have been the one that told you. Or maybe it was... Yeah, who knows? That was 2 years ago.
I have tea for you after this, speaking of that person.
Ooh, girl, okay, we'll get into the tea. But first, I have the real tea. DJ, let me tell you a story. Here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail. Hippity hoppity, Easter's on its way. Easter is a very wholesome holiday, featuring a cute rabbit that brings eggs to all the good children. Now, the only thing about this holiday that might be a little bit scary is the people in bunny suits that adorn the malls across the country so children can come see the Easter bunny and tell them what they want for Easter. And now, you can't tell me that those men in those suits aren't like even just like a little bit creepy. Those lifeless eyes staring back at you, and it's this big rabbit. And I do know like it does scare children, and like there are people who do have irrational fears of them, right? Well, in today's story, we're gonna talk about a little bit like a different version of that. We're gonna talk about another person in a bunny suit. And this person in the bunny suit has an axe and has murderous intentions.
That's just my dad. Leave him alone.
Oh my god. And today, we're going to tell the tale of Fairfax, Virginia's very own Bunnyman. Do.
Canceled. How dare you sing Here Comes Peter Cottontail on my wholesome podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been another episode of Crips and Corks. Please join us again next week.
Wait, why would that offend you?
Because it's not even Easter. It's not Thanksgiving yet.
Well, we're talking about the Bunnyman. I had to talk about fucking Easter, the guy in the fucking bunny suit.
Okay, Target. Let's just, start planning all the holidays 3 months in advance.
Okay, maybe I should have saved this episode for Easter, but hey, I was excited. I heard this, I was doing my good old Google searches like I usually do, and the Bunnyman came up, and I was like, okay, bet, let's do this.
Wait, how do you pick topics, if I may ask?
Like I just said, I go to Google and I start Googling different shit.
You just Google shit. See, I have a dartboard, and I throw darts at it.
Or you just go to our topic list and you just randomly
Oh, don't ruin the magic. I wanted them to actually imagine I was throwing darts at a dartboard and that's how we picked it. Now they know it's so, now they realize that this is actually a corporate thing. We actually sit in an office. We're not actually in your kitchen at all.
Damn.
There's a producer behind this. He's give me the because I'm spilling all the tea.
He's severely underpaid.
Oh, he's underpaid. What about me?
Right, we're not getting paid shit.
And I have top billing.
You have what?
Top billing.
What's that?
On the logo, my name is above yours.
Oh, that's okay.
It used to be in Hollywood. It was a big thing. People would it would literally be I don't care how much you pay me. I want top billing. That was the thing. If your name came first on the
movie poster.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
That was worth more than money.
Okay, interesting. That makes sense.
I mean, even now today,
the credits, I guess.
Credits.
Whose name is on the movie poster, whatever.
Yeah, especially in movies where it will have 2 characters or 3 characters who are all the main.
Yeah.
It will be Zendaya, Timothy Chalamet.
I had to whisper it again so that people could hear it.
Timothy Chalamet.
Well, I think they hear it now.
He fucked a peach.
Oh, that scene. Okay, if you've seen Call Me By Your Name, you know what...
That was
That scene was
Tell me what you know,
crazy.
Grapefruiting, tell me what you know about peaching.
Oh, Timothy Chalamet, he really did that for the people. He was knuckle deep in that peach. Alright, let's get into today's story, guys. So, our story starts in 1904, when people from an institution for the mentally unwell escaped during a transfer to Lorton Prison, right? And they all, they escaped the bus that was going, and they ran into
They
the
had buses back then?
I fucking guess.
Was it a horse and buggy bus?
1904 wasn't that long ago, I don't think. I'm sure they had cars.
I'll have to ask, one of my grandmothers. I'm sure one of them remembers that.
But also, this escape very much gives, Halloween, because that's how Michael escapes, is they're transferring him.
Okay, I know you're not going to get this reference, because I grew up watching the movies my parents wanted to watch rather than kids' movies.
Yeah. Honestly, I do that.
The Fugitive with Harrison Ford.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, it's only been out for 20 years. It's about this guy who he walked in to find his wife was murdered. Mm-hmm. And he got arrested for it. Because this cop said you're the only person who could do it. And during a prison transfer, the bus crashed and he escaped and he became a fugitive and he was on the run while trying to prove his innocence.
That's a common thing, I guess, then in movies, because that's exactly what happened in Halloween. That's how Michael escaped so he could go kill everyone.
I want to know how many prison buses, vans actually crash and people escape.
Probably not many, but the 2 escapees we're going to be focusing on, their names are Douglas Grifton and Marcus Wolster. So they escape into the woods, right? But a couple days later, Marcus was found murdered and mutilated in the woods, and there was a note on his body that said, "I am the Bunnyman."
How was he mutilated?
I guess, I don't know. Mutilated and cut open, guts ripped out, I don't know.
See, I didn't know you were doing this when I did this, but I was just listening through Sinisterhood, and I listened to their episode on Bunnyman.
Yeah, I listened to that too.
He was skinned.
He was skinned.
He was skinned, and then he was like hung from the bridge.
Wait, I didn't know. I thought they found him in the woods. See, one thing you're gonna find about this story, or there's so many fucking versions.
And I'm sure we'll get to this at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But there are so many versions. But the one they told that stuck with me was they found him like hanging from the bridge, totally skinned.
Oh.
And that's how he was mutilated. Which is like, okay.
He's talking about Bunnyman's bridge, which we'll get into later.
Yes. But like, being disemboweled is gross.
Yeah.
Being decapitated is gross. Having your arms like ripped off and like staged is gross. But there's something about skinning.
That would be so painful. I can't even imagine.
I'm just saying about like finding a skinned body.
Yeah, that would be really gross.
Like, do you remember that bodies exhibit that used to go around?
No.
It like came. Oh wait, you didn't grow up in Pittsburgh.
Right.
I was about to say like it came to the Science Center like 3 times, Paul. You didn't grow up in Pittsburgh.
Right. I'm not from here, girlie.
But no, it's like this exhibit, and they have like models, actual bodies, and like one of them is like I'm not saying it's an actual body, but it's like skin to show you like the musculature, and it's disgusting because it looks like meat.
That's gross. I mean, that's what we are. We are just meat.
We are ghosts rattling around in a meat-covered skeleton.
Yes. And I'm glad you listened to that episode of Sinisterhood. So if you have like details you want to add or anything,
yes,
just throw it on in there, okay? So, at first, Douglas was never found right after they found Marcus's mutilated body, but they would find all these rabbits, and like the rabbits would be mutilated as well, so it was assumed that that's what he was eating for food to stay alive in the forest, right? Now, later, how Douglas would die is there's actually a train that goes over the bridge, right? And he actually got hit by the train.
That's common, isn't it? Well, you'll get into this later. Sorry. I'm jumping the gun.
Are there more stories of people getting hit by that train? Because I only know of him. He's the only one who got hit by the train.
Yeah, we'll get into it later.
Okay, cool. Period.
Okay, so he gets hit by a train. He was eating the rabbits.
Yes, he's dead, but
he's psychotic.
Yes, his ghost is still there.
I hate to interrupt, and this is nothing on yours. You're telling the story. It's a problem with the story.
Yeah.
They should have been moving him to, like, the Fairfax Asylum for the Criminally Insane.
Well, actually, the reason they were moving him was because how the story goes is that the residents of the town did not want the insane asylum there. So they actually ended up closing it and were moving people to the prison.
This will come in later, but like the story would be so much better if he was being moved to like the asylum for the criminally insane.
Right. Which is interesting. They would move them to the prison, but we'll get into that later too.
We talked about Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, and they were like dumping people at the asylum for like tuberculosis, asthma, just because like we didn't know what to do with them.
Right.
So I think it's just, and it could have been like one of those things where they were taking like the criminally insane by that definition, that very old-timey definition, and moving them to prison and taking to
like another institution.
Yeah, elsewhere.
Okay. That makes sense. Well, later, a group of teens would go. Now, keep in mind, this is near Halloween time. A lot of these things happen near Halloween, right? So later, a group of teens would go and party by the bridge, right? There were 6 of them.
I love a bridge party.
Oh, me too, especially under. Oh my god.
What are you talking about? Cards, Paul. Cards!
Oh, I didn't get that joke.
I just wanted to contradict you.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm spicy today, I'm sorry.
Essentially, these teens would be murdered. All 6 of them would be murdered, mutilated, and hung up on the bridge.
I'm assuming they were skinned as well.
Yes.
I'm just assuming.
Probably. Maybe.
Or, you know what? I mean, I don't know. If you were a psychopath, how would you mutilate a body?
I'm not sure. If I would, I'd probably like stab them in the stomach, and so I could watch them bleed out and watch the life like leave their eyes. You know, be with them in their final moments, and when they're just about to die, I'm just gonna start lecturing them about Taylor Swift, so they have a pleasant ending.
See, I'm gonna tell you that's where you're wrong, because a stomach wound is too easy to plug up.
Oh,
You need to go for a major artery.
like the ankle.
Like the ankle, like the carotid, or the jugular and the throat.
But then they die too fast.
Oh no, if you go for the throat, there's this brief moment in time where you are bleeding out to death, you are suffocating to death, and you are drowning on your own blood.
You're starting to worry me a little bit.
I was a theater kid. I had to research some dramatic deaths.
That is spooky. Now let's get into another spooky story. So there's another version of this story where there is a teenage boy who would actually dress up in a bunny suit and murder his entire family. So he would murder his entire family and then go to what is now called the Bunnyman's Bridge, and he hung himself from the bridge.
Poor Ralphie.
Poor Ralph. Oh my god, yes! Can you imagine?
He just got tired of, you should try out, in the bunny costume. That's the sequel of A Christmas Story they don't show.
Oh my god, she got tired of having the soap in his mouth and he just murders his entire family.
That is a great movie.
That would be an interesting movie.
No, I mean like the real movie.
Oh yeah, it's a great movie, but my problem with it is my family goddamn insists, because TBS plays that shit for 24 hours
on Christmas.
And they insist on playing that every year, and I am so over that movie.
Okay.
I've seen it too many times.
Okay, but my family does the same thing, and I figure out how to bear it. You only watch it once, and you just leave it on in the background. And so it will be playing in the living room, and I'll play Christmas music in the kitchen, and I spend most of the time in the kitchen with my grandmother helping to cook.
Well, I'm not really a cooker. I'm more of a watcher. I'll do the dishes after, so like I'm kind of stuck in the TV room. I guess I'm a typical
Well, now you have
man.
TikTok.
Oh yeah, I do watch a lot of TikTok. Probably too much TikTok, as you guys probably could tell from the Tom Cruise story. But let's talk about some later sightings of the Bunnyman.
So, just to briefly recap.
Yes.
So we have Douglas, who skinned Marcus.
Yes.
And then ate bunnies, and then got hit by a train. And now we have Ralphie, who killed his family over not shooting his eye out.
Exactly.
And hung himself from the bridge. Okay.
Yep, exactly. So we have those two origin stories of the Bunnyman so far. So, another sighting of the Bunnyman. So, Robert Bennett and his fiancée were parked on not New Guinea, it's just a Guinea Road, by his uncle's house, which he was going to visit after a game they had went and saw. Now,
they were not fucking on the way from the game to his uncle's house.
I never said that. That's your own dirty mind. You need the
You
boy.
can't tell me they were parked on this dark country lane just 'cause.
I don't know. It's not my story to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess it is my story to tell. I am
Yes, it
telling the
is.
story.
And this is a Christian podcast.
We're a podcast for the Lord. You're welcome.
Hallelujah.
So, basically, this figure would rush the car, and when it got closer, like rush to the car when you rush the car, yeah.
Yeah.
So when he got closer, Robert would later say that he noticed the guy was wearing like a white hood that looked like bunny ears, but his fiancée would disagree and say it was more kind of akin to like a KKK hood, but Robert, he said it looked like bunny ears, and they noticed he was holding something, and then crashed through the window. The front passenger side window, he had thrown a hatchet through the window, right? And they drove away, and they didn't realize what he had thrown through the window until like they were driving away and they saw the hatchet on the floor of the car, right? Now, when they were driving away, they could hear the Bunnyman screaming about them for trespassing, saying they were trespassing on his land. And they went straight to the police department, filed a report. Of course, the police didn't do anything. They were like, okay, sure, yeah, this person in a bunny suit was like came and attacked you guys, and they probably laughed at them after they left. And they actually let them keep the hatchet, and Robert still has the hatchet to this day, which is really interesting.
Yes, and going back to that Sinisterhood podcast episode, they mentioned that to this day, they might disagree about certain details, but they're totally in agreement. Like, this is what happened, this is the timeline, this is what I saw. And it was like, he said it looked like bunny ears. She said it looked like a pointy hood.
Yeah.
I think he said it was white. She said it was white and gray.
Right.
But also, it depends on... And, like, that might sound spooky, but also, like, me and Paul are sitting and facing each other.
Right.
If the Bunnyman's coming from behind my shoulder, your perspective is going to be different because I'm probably only going to get this far to look at it and only get a side view of it.
Right.
And honestly, I will say that bunny ears probably would look more like a KKK hood because your brain fills in the gaps when it can't see something.
That would make sense.
Or also just being in, like, what is this, the 50s, 60s?
Yeah.
So it very well could have been.
I think it was actually 1940.
Even still, it could have been a KKK hood.
True. And you know what? To add on to what you were saying too, I was listening to someone where someone actually interviewed Robert, and their aunt actually remembers cleaning up the glass from the car, like after this happened.
And they did find all the glass was inside the car. Mm-hmm. There was no glass outside of it, which means that it was broken from the outside in.
Right.
And also, I think they had glass in their hair and on their clothes. Mm-hmm. So they were both in the car when it broke.
Right.
So it was not like one of them got out, or both of them got out and broke it, because they both had glass on their hair and clothes.
Right.
Just debunking, like, any...
hearsay.
Just debunking any debunking.
Exactly. Now, there was another story that came just 10 days after this of the Bunnyman. There was a security guard watching a construction site at nighttime, and he was driving by one of the houses, and he saw a man dressed in a bunny suit standing on the porch of the house. So he stops, and he goes up, and he's like, hey, you can't be here. And then the bunny takes out from behind him, he takes out a hatchet and starts whacking one of the support beams on the porch, right?
That's crazy.
Why?
Because, cop is on the porch with you. Mm-hmm. Why not just...
Well, he's not on the porch. He's, walking up to the house.
Oh.
And the bunny's on the porch. And he starts chopping away at the support beam.
Regardless, why not chuck that?
That's true. I guess he didn't really want to hurt the policeman, maybe?
No, I'm just going to commit suicide by bringing this entire porch down on my head.
But the bunny, I will say, the bunny did say to him that, again, he brought up the trespassing thing, yelled at him for trespassing. And of course, the security guard was like, you have to stop this. And then the bunny was like, don't come closer. I'm going to chop your head off. And the security guard realized he was out of his league. So he went back to the car to get his handgun. And at that point, when he went back to get the car to get his handgun, the bunny ran off.
This is how you know it's the old days. That cop did not have his gun in his holster unclipped with the safety off.
That's true. Well, also, he's also just a security guard for a construction site.
Wait. You did say that, and I'm just assuming it's a cop. I'm sorry.
I'm surprised the security guard would even have a gun.
Well, I mean, this is the 40s, so they didn't have tasers back then.
Oh. Wait, when were tasers invented? They didn't have tasers in the 40s?
No! That'd be a taser. Okay, let me look this up.
You would have thought they had electricity. Isn't a taser just electricity?
I don't think they had toasters in the 40s.
Are you sure? That doesn't sound accurate.
When were tasers invented? 1969.
We didn't have tasers till 1969?
Okay,
Look up the toaster thing now, because I'm curious.
When were toasters invented? 1893. I was big wrong.
1893. Yeah, DJ.
Shit, they had toasters on the Titanic.
Iconic. You should have known that shit. I'm surprised you don't know how many fucking toasters were on the Titanic.
No, but I know how to... blah, 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 blah. I know how many potatoes there were on the Titanic.
How many?
A fucking lot.
Girl, shut the fuck up, bitch. Okay. So after this, obviously he went to the police and filed a report, like the actual police, and filed a report. And this...
Did they take this one seriously?
Yes.
Okay.
Because this is when it caught on with the news, and they started, like, actually looking for the man in the bunny suit, and they published a lot...
Wait. So you're telling me when a young couple was nearly killed, but when public property, well, not public property, but property that belonged to, and I'm sure is being built by a company that was investing a lot in the town, was destroyed, then it's like a problem.
Yes. That's exactly what or maybe the police just thought, oh, it's just some kids. But
vice versa, you said this is when the news picked it up. They took it seriously because the news were like, what are you going to do about it?
No, I think when the story started coming out, I think the police got the story first and started taking it more seriously and were looking for the Bunnyman.
Like Mothman.
Yeah, and then the crazy news lines came out, like, man in bunny suit, looking for man in bunny suit, and things like that, right? And then it actually caught the attention of national news and everything. Like, even the Washington Post published an article about the Bunnyman, right? So, after this, a bunch of reports came flooding in of people citing the Bunnyman and stuff. Lots of calls. They're trying to find the Bunnyman. And one of the more interesting report is someone actually called in and reported that the Bunnyman actually ate their neighbor's cat. So there's all these, like, crazy reports.
Wait. That is so out of left field. I'm sorry, it's not funny. It's just... It ate my neighbor's cat. I can't tell you how I know it, but it ate my neighbor's cat.
Right. And why didn't the neighbor call and be like, my cat's been eaten? Why did you have to, why did the neighbor call? Why didn't the actual person call and be like, there's some man in a bunny suit eating my fucking
know what
cat.
happened? It's like, he's like, my neighbor's cat got eaten by the Bunnyman. I can't tell you how I know this. Meanwhile, the neighbor's outside, Sprinkles, where are you, Sprinkles? Come on.
Oh my god. You know what? At the same time, I'm trying to find a man to eat my cat. Remember, podcast of the Lord. So, another really interesting thing on the media about this was the story of the Bunnyman was actually featured on national television on a show called The Scariest Place on Earth. It was actually on the channel Fox.
Yes, and had that creepy lady on it.
Yes, and it just, blew up. And also, another thing in the media, this is more recent, they actually made a Bunnyman movie, which Amazon is gatekeeping.
For
it's not even available.
Oh.
You can only watch the second and third one. I was going to pay to watch it, and Amazon said not available.
Did you try Tubi?
No, I'm not doing all that Tubi shit.
Tubi's free.
I don't care.
You just have to watch ads.
I'm not watching Tubi. Okay, maybe I'll give it a try once. Maybe twice. We'll see what happens. But the moral of the story is Amazon is gatekeeping the Bunnyman movie. And you know what? This is a free country, and I think we should be able to watch whatever media we want whenever. And I could not find that movie anywhere else. You can watch the second and third one on Amazon, but the first one, honestly, I'm probably not missing much because those movies seemed pretty awful. But the movies were also, good enough to spark, a lot of people's interest. And the Halloween after that movie came out, it was said 200 or 300 people actually went to Bunnyman's Bridge to try and see the Bunnyman. Mm-hmm. So many people actually went that the police actually had to deploy and, implement, traffic, directing and stuff, and not let so many people go to the Bunnyman's Bridge. And
it's a railroad bridge.
Yes.
It's not a road bridge like Goatman's Bridge in Texas, even though that one's abandoned. Mm-hmm. And Bunnyman's Bridge is still an operational railroad bridge. Mm-hmm. Because you said, people have died on it. I remember hearing one story about a guy, and he had to hold on to one of the trestles.
At this bridge?
Yeah.
Bitch, where'd you hear this story?
I can't remember what podcast, but I heard it.
So he had to hold on to the trestle.
So because it's a far drop. Mm-hmm. So he had to scramble down, and railroad bridges are when you think of railroad tracks, you have the rails, mm-hmm. and then you have the trestles, which are the wood bits, and it's just all open. Mm-hmm. And so he's basically holding onto this plank, waiting for this train to go by.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, okay, he was with his wife, and so he, like, scurried to do it. And then after it passed, he, like, looked everywhere and he couldn't find his wife. His wife got hit by the train and knocked off his wife or girlfriend.
Damn.
Because they went, and here's the thing, they went looking for the Bunnyman, and that's, like, when the police started to really crack down. And because it's an active railroad bridge.
Yeah. And that's when they really started to crack down on, like, people going to the bridge?
Yeah, because the thing is, I think it's, like, right beyond a bend.
Yes.
So you don't see the train till it's too late.
Oh.
And that's why it's so dangerous.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, thank you for sharing. I
You're
did
welcome.
not know that little information.
Mm-hmm.
So, those are the main sightings. Those are the main stories of the Bunnyman. Short, sweet, to the point. Now, let's talk about what's actually going on here. Let's talk about the tea behind this urban legend.
Mm-hmm.
First, let's talk about the first story, okay?
Right.
So, there was actually never an insane asylum in Fairfax, Virginia.
What?
And the prison they're talking about actually didn't even open until 1910. The story is said to take place in 1904. So, that story about the transferred inmates didn't happen. And actually, interesting fact, the prison they were transferred to, like, was said to be transferred to, the prison's now closed and now it's a brewery.
Oh!
And it's appropriately a Bunnyman themed brewery.
Oh, lit.
That version of the story is actually called the Timothy C. Forbes version. And Timothy actually wrote this version of the story about the inmates being transferred on a website called Castle of Spirits, which probably isn't the most reliable source. But the scholars who studied the Bunnyman, and by scholars, there was this one guy who worked in the library there who, like, made it his mission to become, like, the expert on the Bunnyman.
The Bunnyman expert?
Yep. He actually coined the term, this is the Forbes story, because Timothy C. Forbes was the one who wrote this story. And this story was really the one that caught on. And another interesting thing about some research on the Bunnyman, there was this girl who went into that area and interviewed a bunch of people about the Bunnyman and got all of their stories and found there were a lot of different deviations on the story on whether, like, how murderous the Bunnyman was, like, what actually happened, the time frame. There's a lot of variations to this story, which happens with a lot of urban legends, right? So this story, it's definitely an urban legend.
Yes, it's like one of those cases, and it's really interesting because it's one of those cases of, it probably was, like, John and his girlfriend, fiance, parked on that lover's lane, and a guy in a KKK outfit throwing a hatchet at them, trying to get them to leave.
Right.
And how just that he was in a bunny suit got distorted. And I love how Sinisterhood said it probably bred a lot of copycats.
Exactly. And that's probably the scariest thing about the Bunnyman is the copycats. Because people hear a story like this and like, oh, it'll be so funny if I go out and do this.
Yeah, and they would bring up, like, there's a Bunnyman festival now, and it's around the bridge. And, like, how there's, like, it's a one-lane road going in, and there's a one-lane road going out. And how, like, they said, like, if somebody decided to, like, copycat it and, like, actually kill people, he would probably get through 5 to 10 people before anyone batted an eyelash.
Right.
They would just go, oh, it's part of the show.
Yeah, honestly, like I said, the scariest thing is the copycats, because I do think there were people in bunny suits out there copying this person, and that's probably where a lot of those police reports came through. Now, there also is a theory. You know the common thing that the Bunnyman's yelling about trespassing? So actually where they were building those houses used to be farmland, right? and they were like dividing it up to make
Yes,
housing.
as they did in the 40s and 50s.
Exactly. So there's theories that it's like this farmer that was angry that people were taking his land, and it wasn't like farmland anymore. It was becoming housing, and he couldn't just like roam the woods or whatever. They were taking his land. So there's a theory that it was just one of the local farmers who were upset about all these new people coming into his land.
Well, it wouldn't have been his land because it would have been sold to the developers.
Yeah.
Unless, like, it wasn't his, and it was just kind of sold out from under him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe that could have been because I do hear stories of like the state taking land forcibly for like recreation purposes, state parks, things like that.
But this is like residential, so I wonder if like it was something like it was his wife's family farm, and when his wife died, she left it to the kids, and the kids sold it. But he regarded it as his farm.
Right.
But legally, it was his kids, and they sold it.
Right.
Or he could have like have been a farmer, and either dementia or insanity, and they sold the land, and he came back, and he was doing this.
Oh, okay. Those are good theories. Now, all this debunking aside, I will also say that there's no record of those 6 teens who were supposedly murdered and mutilated. So that's out the door. No record of that.
No, because I heard one story where like they saw the Bunnyman and then they found their bodies, and it's like, well, how do you know what they saw if they're dead?
Right, exactly. Are you talking about the story where they supposedly saw that orb of light, and then in a flash they were all mutilated?
Yes, and it's like, how do they know? Like, did one of them escape?
Yeah, I didn't like that version of the story, so I didn't include it. That's why I didn't include it, because I didn't like that version of the story.
No, it was stupid.
And like I said, like at the beginning of the episode, there's a lot of versions of this story, like, because it's an urban legend, it's not true. There's like not many facts.
If there was a Bunnyman, I think it'd be interesting if he did have a bunny suit, but made out of like the skinned rabbits that he was eating.
That would be spooky.
Yes.
Bitch.
See, if I was making a Bunnyman movie, that's what I would do.
Okay. Side theory. And stick with me here, people. Stick with me here. What if the Bunnyman's a furry? And they didn't have furries in the 1940s. So he was just the first of his kind. He felt outcast. He got bullied for wearing his bunny suit. He was just trying to be a furry, and society didn't accept him. So he had no choice.
What if there was like a whole warren of them?
A what?
A group of rabbits is called a warren.
That's crazy.
So what if there was a whole warren of bunny furries?
How do you fucking know that?
Because there's a bar I like downtown that's called The Warren, and it's like the white rabbit from Alice in the Wonderland theme.
Oh, okay. Period.
So what if there's a whole warren of pre-furry bunny furries? And one of them was like on guard duty, and like that's what started it.
Interesting. That's a good theory. I like it. I will also note as well that there's no record of that boy killing his family and hanging himself. That was false as well.
Oh, A Christmas Story. It remains intact. They only kill a goose.
Right. So, okay. All this aside, the Bunnyman is still a fun story. Like, it's something interesting to tell, something to spook your kids with, something to tell around the campfire. As most urban legends go, probably the scariest things is the real people who try to copy it.
Yes.
And I would actually go visit the Goatman's. I would go visit the Bunnyman's bridge. And I don't know why all of a sudden I can't talk, but I swear I'll get it together by the end of the episode.
I would go during the daytime. And I would not actually walk out on the bridge for all the reasons we said before.
Because you don't want to be hit by a train.
I don't want to be hit by a train. And I would not go at night because, like you said, I don't think there's a ghost of the Bunnyman. But I'm sure there's a lot of whack jobs out there who are trying to, like, do weird shit.
Yeah.
And we discussed this when we went to Point Pleasant for Mothman, being out in the igloos. Like, what weird satanic, or, like, I know this sounds very satanic panic of me, but, like, what people are coming out here and doing, like, dark rituals that don't want to be caught.
That's true. I could see that in one of those bunkers because there were a lot of those bunkers out there.
And I mean, most of them had just like run of the mill graffiti, but
You never know what the dolls and the divas were doing in the bunkers and the Mothman in Point Pleasant. Now, DJ, I have a very, very, very important question for
yes,
you. Smash or pass the Bunnyman?
pass, hard pass.
I'm gonna have to pass too. It's just not giving.
No.
I'm sorry. We're passing this one. Now, do you have anything you would like to add to the story? Anything
No,
I
I
missed?
think you covered it pretty well.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty short story, so this is probably going to be a pretty short episode. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I thought the Bunnyman was kind of interesting. I thought, when I first started researching, I thought it was going to be a lot more interesting and a lot less debunky.
No, it's very much. This is one of those cases of a blah blah. No, I can't. It's contagious. Of American folklore growing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about Thomas. What's his name?
Thomas.
Yeah, the historian.
Girl, I don't know what you're talking about.
The historian.
Girl!
The historian who was trying to become the Bunnyman expert.
Oh, the librarian.
The librarian.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said it's really interesting because he's tracking. He's it's trying to track down the origin story because it's when did you hear about this? What was the year? What was the context? What was the story you heard? And interviewing all these people in Fairfax because a lot of people heard it in high school and they heard it either at a bonfire with friends or
exactly young ages.
Yes. Or in Lover's Lane, Bunnyman comes out here.
Right. It's very much a story to ward teens from doing crazy shit in the woods.
It's one of those, but also it's like the Candyman, how it used to be you'd go to Lover's Lane and you tell your date a scary story to make her jump into your arms and then you could start necking.
Very that.
If somebody did that to me, I'd go, let's leave. No, let's leave.
Which is so funny because you're a paranormal investigator, so you'd think you'd be wanting to stay.
Oh, but here's the thing, okay, I'm going to tell you this insane story, and then I'm going to kiss you, and we're going to make out and have sex, and be super vulnerable.
Oh, yeah.
In this location where there's a murderer or a ghost.
Yeah, that's a good point. It probably wouldn't work on me either. That's a good point. But also I'm a paranormal investigator, so I'm fearless.
So you go to the paranormal place with no interest to neck or be necked.
Exactly. When we're going to haunted places, we're there for business.
No. I mean, Mothman definitely propositioned you in that igloo, and you stayed strong. You said no, but also you said to him, "I'm sorry, I'm just not a bottom."
Right. It took a lot of willpower. It took a lot of trust.
But did you see that shiny hiney?
The shiny hiney. That'll get you. The shiny hiney will get you.
I really couldn't remember that the other episode when we were talking about it.
Oh, yeah. But hey, we remembered now. So, any final thoughts on the Bunnyman?
No, this was a good episode.
Thank you. I don't have any final thoughts. It's a cute little story. Something
it
to
is.
ease your palate from all the spookiness that we gave you guys in October.
Yeah, and I mean, if you guys have had any experiences down in Fairfax, Virginia with the Bunnyman's Bridge, please email us. Go into the description to our email. Please like us on all of our socials. If you really enjoy what we do, share this podcast with 2 of your friends, co-workers, family members who would be interested in Let's Keep Building the Community. Paul, where can they find you?
You can find me at my personal Instagram and TikTok at Paulember, Paulember. And as usual, y'all, it's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
And if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so on Instagram or on TikTok at The Real Teach Powers. And if you'd like to write me a love letter, you can send it to the van under Bunnyman's Bridge. And guys, there is a lot of terrible going in the world. We try to distract you, but it is always good to give back. If you'd like to help kids who are being affected by the very pointless war that is happening in Gaza and help them have some relief from both the war and the genocide that is going on there, please go to www.unicef.org and you can donate there or find other ways to help out. And I think that's all she wrote.
Period. Also, go vote. This is the last episode.
Is this?
Yep. This will come out next week.
I thought this was... Okay, yeah. Go to www.vote.org to check your polling place. Please make a plan. Get out and vote. Even if you think it doesn't matter for you, it does matter for you. And if you can't find a reason why it matters for you, find someone in your life where it does matter.
Period. All right.
And remember to keep your crypts tight.
Wait, where are they mailing your love letters this week?
I already said the van under Bunnyman's bridge.
Oh, excuse the fuck out of me. I'll kill myself next time. Excuse the fuck out of me.
Keep your crypts tight.
And your corks loose. Bye. And if you ever research my topic again, I'm gonna fucking ruin your life, bitch.
This was an accident, Paul. Calm down.